Welcome back to Ill Eagle Culture Brands Red Tape Talk. I'm your host, John Ostos, a.k.a. Ill Eagle CEO, and I'm here with my two counterparts, Dion, Two Cup Larry, and Cody, Big Meat Mauch.
Yeah.
And today we have a special guest with us again. This time, this guy is a self-proclaimed Taylor Swift fan. He's second of 8 kids in his family. He lost his 2 front teeth when he collided with a friend while diving for a loose ball in a basketball game. He was a multi-sport athlete in high school. He finished high school with over 1,000 receiving yards and 24 touchdowns, so he was not in the position he is today. He's second team All-State in basketball as a senior. Went on to college as a walk-on at NDSU in the tight end position. Now an offensive lineman in his freshman year, and post-freshman you were over 300 pounds. Probably one of the coolest underdog stories locally for us. And then he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the second round draft at right guard. So Cody Mauch of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, welcome to the show, brother.
What an intro. I love it. Let's get it going.
Yeah, we're trying to be professional around here, man.
So, Cody, I was kind of trying to think back on how we like connected, and obviously through Facebook. I think one day I was like on Facebook and I started typing in Cody or something, and your name popped up. And I was like, Cody Mauch, what the fuck? I was like, that's not my picture. And then I clicked on it. I was like, oh shit, there's another Cody Mauch on here. And I was like, all right, his name's Cody Mauch. He's got to be pretty cool. So that's when I added you on Facebook. And then we've been Facebook friends ever since. But I had no idea that you existed until I found you on Facebook.
No, and I got actually a funny story. This was, oh my gosh, I was really young. I was probably 10 years old or something, and somehow the pharmacy must have sent you had some prescription or something to our house. Not sure what they were for.
ADD meds or something.
I'm like, what? Mom, I don't know what this is. I promise, I have no idea what's going on. And it wasn't long after, I think I kind of, I got on Facebook as an 11-year-old, as of course, what a great idea. But then I searched up my name on there and I found you, and I'm like, I got to be friends with this guy. He's from Wapaton. Let's do it.
That's great.
Yeah. Our family is like, the Mauchs are huge. Like, so my grandpa had 11 kids.
Wow.
So it's hard enough for me to remember like my first cousins, because there's so many of them. And then Cody's family is obviously really large too. So there's a ton of Mauchs out there.
So he's not named after you.
No, I don't think so.
A lot of Mauchs running in that area though, down there.
The people in my office, they actually say that you're the real Cody Mauch.
I don't know about that.
Whenever we're talking, we're like, oh yeah, no, not you, the real Cody Mauch.
That's great.
Not too sure about that one.
So, what was it like transitioning from, obviously going from high school to college? Like the transition from high school to college, how was that for you?
It was a pretty big leap. I feel like it's a big leap for anybody going from high school to college, but especially small town North Dakota 9-man football to Division I football. It's just, man, the speed of the game was just so much different. And I got there, and so right away, I was supposed to be a school start guy. I wasn't supposed to go to fall camp or anything. I was just going to start once school started, but someone ended up getting hurt. So I went 7 or 8 days into fall camp to play D-end. I was a scout team D-end right away to start. And they have all these terms. Obviously, it's Division I football, but there's, spill, box, all these different things on defense, ways to play that I had never heard. In high school, it's just see ball, get ball, So it's like, I'm like, oh my goodness, now I'm 7 days behind too. Like, how am I ever going to catch up to these people? But after that first year, it started to slow down a little bit. It was still weird popping around playing different positions, because that whole first year I was playing D-end, but I would do individual drills with the tight ends. And then the next year, a little bit of O-line as well. So I'm like, I don't really have a home. I don't really know where I'm supposed to be. But once I finally got settled in at O-line, I thought the speed of everything started to really settle down a little bit. But that was the biggest thing for me, was just how fast everything is.
Did they put you on like a strict training regimen right away when you were in college?
Nothing really too crazy. It just kind of started to happen. You know, our strength coach, Coach Kramer, really, really good at developing guys. That's kind of what he's known for. And I was always in our weight room, we have a big whiteboard, and there's like for the guys who need to cut down on their body fat, it's the where's the six pack board. And then the guys who need to beef up a little bit, it's just the where's the beef board. And I was on the where's the beef board for my first 2 years, because every week I'd be putting on 1 to 2 pounds, not really like trying to put it on. It just, you know, you start to actually work out in college. I mean, like I said, 9-man football, I didn't really work out too much in high school. So when you finally start working out and eating like an athlete, the weight just started to come, and it never really stopped. And it was like, okay, keep developing like this. And that's just kind of how the weight started to come.
Did you eat anything specific, or did you just eat at the college and whatever they served there?
It was really just eat whatever was at the dining center. Protein shakes, like every once, or not even protein shakes, but like smoothies almost after lifts every now and then, but not really. It was really just eating 5 to 6 times at the dining center, just trying to, you know, put in the amount of calories that I was burning off during all those workouts.
You mentioned this when you were in my office that day, but I don't know if you guys know, but Cody was actually, weren't you an SDSU fan at one point?
Growing up, everyone around the area loved the Bison, and I just wanted to be different than everyone else. So like the first probably 4 national championships, I was rooting against the Bison every single time. And even, I'm not going to lie, even my senior year in college, I had a little belly shirt under my pads senior year in high school, I had a little belly shirt that I would wear, and it was a Jackrabbit shirt, and I wore it.
Oh man.
So he's a troll. That's so funny.
That's good stuff.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Not a good look now.
Well, I think they're more than happy to have you, you know, at their team though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So what was it like? When did you like officially think to yourself, like, okay, things are starting to really go well for me in college here? Was there any point at time where you thought like you could make this a full-time career and make it to the NFL?
So crazy enough, after my first year actually playing O-line, so that would have been my second year in college. We have our little end of the year meetings with the head coach. At that time, it was Chris Kleiman, who's now at Kansas State, and he mentioned to me in that meeting, like, "Hey, Cody, I really think, you know, your body type, the way you play, your athleticism, you keep this up, I think you could be an NFL talent." And that was kind of the first time I ever heard it. And of course, you know, I was a backup O-lineman only playing in scrub time. And I'm like, I went back to my apartment and tell my buddies, and we're like, this guy's an idiot. Like, what does he know? There's like no way that's going to happen. And I didn't believe him at all at the time. It was really probably my first year starting, because I started for 3 years. Probably the first year starting, I'm like, I think I could have a shot to at least go and attempt to, you know, make a team or something in the NFL. So it was when I first started playing, that was like, you know what, I think I could do this.
So you went to college. You came in at, what is that, 190 pounds or just shy of 200?
It was about 215.
215, and then you left like well over 300, was it?
Yeah, I left college probably about 305.
And you gained a foot while you're
I don't know where that came from. Yeah, I don't know.
How tall are you?
6'5", a little over 6'5".
Holy.
I don't know how I grew an inch and a half in college, but I put on, I mean, now I'm about 315, so put on 100 pounds, and I guess grew a little bit too in the last 6 years. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think, you know, like you said, I think NDSU just, they've nailed down like how to develop guys and just beef them up. And we've always had a pretty strong line. I feel like NDSU is just always huge up front.
Well, it is. It's. I feel like they do such a good job of getting local guys who, aren't these big, highly recruited athletes, but they're hardworking. A lot of times, like farm background kids who 2 to 3 years later, with some actual weightlifting and some sort of training regimen, like that you can develop into something, and they have just always done so well with that. I think that's why NDSU's always had so many good offensive linemen, is just local kids who work hard and will put the time in.
Yeah. What was it? What was your feeling like the last year at NDSU? How did you feel like the team ended up then?
I don't know. It's weird. It was kind of weird. I always had, so Cordell Volson is a really good friend of mine. He was a year older than me, got drafted the year before I did to play for the Bengals. And Cordell, one of the best leaders I know. So once Cordell left, it was kind of weird to have to like truly step up into more of like a vocal role. So it really kind of, it was a weird last year because you always had Cordell there, or there's always so many leaders. You really had to step up as like a more of a vocal guy, which I was vocal, but not to like the aspect that Cordell was. So it was, it was just a different year in terms of that. And obviously not a great year for us the way it ended up. I mean, losing in the national championship, making it to the national championship for most teams you're going to call that a great year, but for NDSU, that's our goal is to win it all the time. So that was a big bummer to lose in the national championship, especially against SDSU in my last ever college game.
Yeah, as a big NDSU fan, I think we get so used to being so dominant all the time, and just you guys constantly playing like flawlessly. And when you're not playing flawlessly, then people get frustrated, like, what the hell is going on? But one thing I noticed though was that your guys' the line was always on point. They always had time in the backfield to do whatever they needed to. It's just, whatever happened, they just couldn't put it together. But I think that was the main point, was just people are just getting frustrated because, they're so used to you guys being so dominant.
Well, absolutely. Like that's definitely the case with fans. It's even the case on our team a lot where, you're so good for so long. I mean, I won my first 3 years I was there. I won national championships. And when young kids are coming in and, that's just what happens, it's pretty easy to get complacent. You see it a lot where you're winning all the time. Like, oh, this is just what happens. But if you've never really been through any kind of hurdle or anything, you're just winning all the time, you're going to get complacent and just expect that's what happens. So I think I think that kind of started to catch up with us a little bit here these last few years, just not as successful as we have been. And I really think they're starting to get on the right track again now. But I mean, it's tough not to get complacent when you're winning these games all the time. So that kind of hit us a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, when you're constantly the king of the hill and there's another team that's wanting to take it, they're a little bit more hungrier than you.
Exactly. And I really hope that's kind of how our guys are now, just not winning the last 2 years. Well, let's get back now and let's take it back. I mean, we feel like that's our, we're always the top dogs there. So hopefully we have a little bit of that hunger now, and should be a good year. I'm excited for them.
What did you go to school for? And did you feel like it was kind of on the back burner those last couple of years, or because you had this goal in mind?
Well, so I went to school for agricultural engineering, and I never, even when I started out college, I never really planned to use that degree. I was going to go back and farm. That was always my plan. This way, it's a good degree. If anything ever goes wrong on the farm, or I, want to do something else, I have a good degree that I can get into afterwards. And so I never really even planned on using the degree in the first place. But then, I mean, it was tough when I finally started to have the potential to go play pro. It's like what am I even doing? What am I doing these? Like, why am I in Calc 4 right now? Like, I don't really care about this. So it was definitely tough to stay on track with all that stuff, but I made it through, got a degree.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. So you committed yourself to the draft. You held a draft party in probably one of the smallest towns in North Dakota. And did you expect it to be that massive of an event?
I figured there'd be a lot of people. We kind of made the mistake of pretty much putting it out on Facebook, like anyone's welcome, not expecting everybody from the surrounding areas to show up. I mean, why wouldn't you? It was such a cool event. Like things like that don't happen often around here. So of course it's going to be a big event, but definitely a couple more people than we thought. It was, oh my gosh, you could not walk at the time of when I got picked there. I just wish I had a little overhead video of everybody because it was just shoulder to shoulder packed in there. It was so insane.
Yeah, when I showed up, I think it was like 30 minutes before the draft started, and it was already shoulder to shoulder in there.
Wow.
And it was like you had to squish in to find a spot to stand.
Yeah.
And I was like squished in on the side of the hallway there, and Cody was up front. And they were announcing everybody, going through the line. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be so and so." Like everybody's like an expert predictor at this point. Like, "Oh yeah, this team needs the linemen. It's gonna be them." And then they would get to him and they would announce somebody who's like, and everybody's like, "Oh." And especially when they got to the Vikings, they're like, "Come on. Oh."
That was funny though. Just like the audible, like just sigh from everybody every time someone's favorite team was up and they did it, and I didn't go to them. That was pretty funny. But
that was hilarious.
It was great too. So I had a little table full of every hat of every NFL team, and my plan was just to go up, grab the hat, put it on whenever I got picked. But I knew I got the call I was going to get taken by the Bucs, I think 2 picks before. So I told my little brother to run up, and obviously if I would have told him to run up and grab a hat but don't show anybody else, everyone would have thought it would have been the next team that was on the clock. So I told him to just go grab the next 5 hats. That way no one really had any idea. But I got the call, and everyone at the table, it's my parents, my now fiance, a couple of my siblings, and I got the call, just quietly just put it down and didn't tell anybody. So they all kind of figured out in real time too where it was going to be. So it was that was awesome. Really special.
Yeah, that was really cool. And so then the Bucs come up and they announce his name, and that place, like I thought the roof was going to blow off. Like it was so friggin' loud. Everybody was screaming, "Cody, Cody." I'm pretty sure I started that chant, by the way.
You were just doing it for yourself, though.
Yeah.
It was really loud. When the pick came through, man, that was crazy. That was just, I can't express that feeling. That was just pretty incredible.
I recorded that moment, and I must have watched that video probably 20 times. I was like, God, that is so freaking cool. Like you said, just it doesn't happen a lot around here, and to be able to know somebody that's going through it, it's kind of like a moment for us to experience it and just feel so happy for you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was just, and that's part of the reason I had so many people there was, like we said, it doesn't happen very often around there, but also small town North Dakota, shoot, you're closer to everybody. And plus the Mauch family alone, we could have filled that thing up. So
that's for sure.
Like all my family was there, friends, people I grew up with in the town and whatnot. So it's like, I wouldn't want that any other way. I was not mad at all. There was that many people there.
I know. It was literally like a Mauch reunion because I saw a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time. So that was pretty amazing. So you got picked, and then you had to basically pack up all your stuff. You guys rented a U-Haul. You went and found a spot down in Tampa, and you started basically practicing right away, right? Or almost?
Pretty much. I had a couple days after the draft. Then I flew down, just me. I flew down with a month's worth of stuff. And we were staying in the hotel, all the rookies, we have to stay in the hotel there for the off season, like the OTA timeline. So it was about a month of just staying in a hotel, starting like the off season training and practicing with the team. And then we had 3-4 weeks off in the summer after that. So I flew back up. My fiance and I packed everything up, got a U-Haul, and then drove all the way down. And then, moved into our apartment. And then it was go time for the longest season of my life.
What was it like first starting out with the team? Were you nervous?
Definitely a little nervous. Not only are you going in like competing for a starting spot, but also you're having to meet literally everybody. Like you don't know anybody there. So you're just meeting so many people. So it's like getting thrown into a completely new dynamic of personalities and just different people in the locker room, while also having to learn a new playbook, a new offense, and now living in Florida when I've been in North Dakota my whole life. So it was definitely a little bit of an adjustment period, but it went well. It was good. We have such a good locker room that the personality wise, that was a pretty easy transition.
When did you find out that you were going to be the official starter?
I think after one of the preseason games, they kind of officially announced it. But right from when I first got down there in the off season, I had been taking the starting right guard reps the entire off season, all of training camp. So I kind of in the back of my mind knew, okay, this is my job to lose. I have to go win it, obviously, but it's also kind of my spot to lose. But officially, it was after one of the preseason games, which that was pretty cool to officially get that starting spot.
So, to go back to the draft, you just have the idea you are going to get picked at some point. You don't know when, right?
Right. My agent, a couple days before the draft, we had a long phone call where we went through every single team because the teams, they all talk to my agent, so he knows what each team is thinking of me. And so I kind of knew roughly what teams liked me. And then, this team, they see you in the maybe late first. This team sees you in the third, like just kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I did not, up until that phone call with him, I never would have thought it would have been Tampa Bay. I didn't think I didn't have that many meetings with them in the whole training process. So it was honestly one of the last places I would have expected to go.
And you're a Vikings fan, right?
Yeah, grew up a Vikes fan.
Yeah. Did they have any interest in you that you were aware of?
I think it would have been a little bit later. They didn't need interior O-line as much as they needed other spots. So it probably would have been like if I was available in like the third round, that's where I think they would have looked at me at.
Oh, wow.
So when you found out the schedule and you saw that the Vikings were your first official game, how geeked were you?
Yeah, that's like, you can't write that up any better. That's insane.
Oh, yeah, for
real.
First ever start against your childhood favorite team, 3.5 hours away from home. Man, that was incredible. That was just so cool. I bet I had 600-700 people just from the area, friends from Fargo, family that were at the game, and just so cool. I can't. That was just like that for that many people to be at my first game. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, you honestly, you couldn't write that up. That is like the strangest thing possible. But what was it like stepping out on the US Bank Stadium like that?
Really, really, it was really cool. It was weird running out of the tunnel and getting booed by all the Vikings fans. And it's like, man, what the heck? I've been one of you guys my entire life. Like, what is this? But that stadium is it's such a nice stadium too. That's one of the best stadiums I've played in all year. Just atmosphere wise, it's such a newer stadium, but nice stadium too. And it was that was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, it was loud as shit in there too. And I just happened to, like, as soon as you got drafted to the Bucs, I went on the schedule of the Vikings, and sure enough, it was the first First home opener game was against the Bucs, so I bought them right away, and I got great seats. And they were like right at the end zone. So when you guys were down towards the end zone, I got a couple of pictures of Cody and I texted it to him. And yeah, that was cool. What was it like playing against the Vikings? I mean, you guys kind of whooped our ass, but
yeah, it was weird. Like after that game, like after the game, anytime I see the Vikes playing, I'm kind of rooting for them, just still a little bit of a Vikings fan. But during the game, it was a lot easier than you'd think to. Obviously, you want your team to win, like I want to play well, I want my team to win, but it was weird watching Kirk Cousins throwing it at Justin Jefferson and like wanting them to screw up. You know what I mean? Like you just never, as a Vikings fan, I've never wanted that in my entire life. It was just weird to hope for that.
Oh, that's crazy.
So Cody, you were there. Did you boo him when he came out too then?
Oh no, I was like recording him the whole time. I was like looking for your jersey, and then I saw you on the sideline. I was like, oh yeah, there he is. You could see the long flowing red hair from a mile away.
Yeah, tough to miss. No, I had family up in the stands, and they're wearing the Cody Mauch jersey, and they're getting booed by a bunch of Vikings fans, and they're all trying to be like, no, hey, we're one of you guys too, just not for this game. Just this is the only game we're Buccaneers fans.
Yeah, I showed up to the stadium. I had a Vikings hat on, and then I had your jersey, so I could blend in a little bit. And then everybody was questioning me, like, they're like, "Where's your loyalty?" I was like, "Well, I got family on the field, but I'm a Vikings fan. What do you want me to do?"
Exactly.
How did you feel about so was the competition a big step up when you left from college to the NFL? Were you like, holy, these guys are a lot bigger, a lot stronger consistently, I guess?
That's the biggest thing is consistently. It was, I mean, the absolute best players I played against in college are now like, practice squad type level players in the NFL. So it's like, they're all huge, they're explosive, and they're all quick. It doesn't. I mean, Vita Vea is one of our D linemen. He's 370 pounds, and he runs faster than most people. It's like that's not fair. It's not fair for these people to be that big and be that quick. But that's the thing is, consistently across the league, everyone is the best of the best. So there's no more like Western Illinois type teams on your schedule. It's talent across the board every single week.
Who's like, I get, and it's obviously early on to say, but what's like the biggest competitive battle you've had against like a D tackle, or like who's that guy where you're like, we have fun when we play each other, like it's a tough one?
I would say, so I played Fletcher Cox twice last year, and thank God he retired now. He's just so good. He's been so good for so long too. He's just so smart. He definitely got me quite a few times in the 2 times we played him. But him, and then Derek Brown is a D lineman for the Panthers, who not a lot of people know about, but they're in our division, so we play them twice a year. He's a freaking good ball player. He huge dude, but he's so explosive that at times a little tough to go up against him. So those 2 guys really stick out.
Yeah. Cody, when you first started with the Bucs, I can't remember. You came out and beat the Vikings, but then there was a couple games where you guys lost, obviously. But were you paying attention to any of the sports journalists at the time, what they were saying?
Not really. I mean, I would see a lot of the stuff, just even checking Twitter, Facebook, the posts would just kind of come up, kind of shit talking the Bucs, and that's just what reporters do. I mean, we went through kind of 3 different like seasons within the season. So we were 3-1 heading into our bye week, and then we lost sometime in there. We lost like 5 or 6 games straight, and we're down to maybe like a 300 team. And then we won another like 6 of 7 games in a row. So it's like, we're winning right away, then we're losing again, and now we're winning. And so it was just, you go through all these different lulls and ebbs and flows of the whole season that that's how it goes. It's really a game of momentum the entire season. So you can't really listen too much to what these reporters are saying. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but like we always know what it is in the locker room. We're really the only ones who understand like what we're doing. Can't really let the media get to you too much.
Yeah, so I follow obviously the Bucs page, so I get a lot of the Bucs media posting on my Facebook, and there was a couple of times where I see these sports journalists. They were, in lack of better words, kind of talking shit about you, like just saying a couple things. And I had wrote out this huge paragraph that I was gonna post, defending you, but then I was like, oh wait, my name's Cody Mauch.
Like ghost account.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I can't do that. So I had to delete it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna swallow it. These guys, they get paid to talk shit. So I'm just gonna let this go. But it was obviously during your guys' stretch when you're losing, but then then they turn to like, oh yeah, look at this team. They're gonna go to the Super Bowl. That's how quickly it changes. But I was a little fired up when I saw all these people talking shit. I was like, dude, the guy's a rookie and he's a starter and he's still crushing it. And yeah, but like you said, they do that.
Yeah, it's tough. I got into a pretty bad space last year, just where like after games, I don't know like what it was. I just kind of wanted to know like, oh, what are the people saying? So I would like search my name on Twitter. And then I would see everyone just saying these terrible things. And I'm like, why did I even do this? Like, what am I looking for right now? Like, why? I don't need to see this. And so I don't even look at that anymore. And there was a game last year. We played the Bills on Thursday Night Football. So nothing else is going on Thursday. So everyone's watching it. Obviously, a lot of people are sports betting on this game. And towards the end of the game, we're driving down. We're down 2 scores. We have to score. And Baker throws a 50-yard bomb to Mike Evans, and that catch would have put Mike over for the receiving yards of the game or whatever, but I had a holding on that play, and so it got brought back. We ended up still scoring on the drive, so it's like, doesn't matter, no harm, no foul. But after the game, I go and I look on my phone. Oh, a lot of people who bet Mike Evans over receiving were not very happy with me. I had a lot of very angry DMs telling me a lot of vulgar things about
that's kind of crazy. Myself.
So that stuff that sucks.
Yeah, that's got to be hard to deal with, man. It's all new to you, and you've got masses of people who don't even really know you. Just now they're talking shit, but it's almost like the name of the game once you get to that level.
It is. That's just it sucks, but it's part of it. I mean, my latest Instagram post at that time, it was a birthday post for my fiance. Just happy birthday, Carly, all this, and people are going back and commenting on that, like telling me how bad I am, and it's like, guys, come on, this is you know what I mean? This is just terrible.
Yeah, that's crazy that like people just don't realize you guys are just regular people as well.
Exactly.
Well, the internet's just full of shit talkers, and a lot of these people are like, the Monday morning quarterbacks, like, oh, you should have did this, and they're not ever gonna get to your level. They're just there to talk shit. That's make themselves feel better.
Yeah, you really got to realize that it makes everything a lot easier when you realize that these people don't know what they're talking about.
Hey, so what was the locker room culture like from going from college to NFL? Or I should say, we all know what locker room culture it would be like in high school, but what was it like in college and what was it like in NFL?
I felt my favorite like locker room time was in college. It was just great. I mean, these are guys who you spend literally all day with. You're living with these guys for 6 years. So you just get so close to everybody. I mean, you do everything with them. Thursday night, you go out to Buffalo Wild Wings, like you're going with a guy. So like the locker room was so much fun. We had a little players lounge in the locker room at NDSU with Xbox, PlayStation. We're just playing Madden games. Like that's the kind of stuff that you're never going to forget, like that kind of stuff, like the bonding we would do in the locker room. And it's not like, it's still a good locker room we have now. It's just a little bit different too, because now there's some people are 35 years old and have 3 kids at home. So,
Yeah.
it's some people are a 21-year-old rookie. So like like personalities are a little bit different. And like, I mean, obviously different priorities. Like I said, there's people who have kids, wives at home. So you're not really staying after to do things. I mean, you're in and you're out. So, just a little bit different in terms of that.
Do you hang out with any of the boys on your team, like outside of football?
Yeah, we as an O-line, we'll go out to eat every Thursday during the season. We'll just rotate where we go, kind of rotate who pays. It's just kind of like a hierarchy thing. Like each week, someone else will pay for the dinner. But I mean, that's one of the best parts of the week is just hanging out with the guys, but not talking anything football. Really, just bullshitting while you're eating a good meal. Like that's one of the best things about the week.
Good. So you're scoping out all the good places to eat. So when I come down there, you're going to know where to go.
I'll have a little list for you. Yeah.
Go ahead, D.
How do you feel like, how has the travel impacted you? Obviously, you go from, you travel a decent amount at NDSU, but not like flying. And now you're flying to different cities, different states every week.
Yeah, it's literally, it's crazy that, pretty much every week, every other week, you're flying all over the place. It's no longer like we're going from Fargo to Illinois. It's Florida to California and then flying back the next day. This is one of my favorite things about what we do now. So halfway through the season last year, it was actually when we were going to play the Niners. A bunch of the linemen, we all got Nintendo Switches, and we play Mario Kart. We play like 8-person Mario Kart, and literally the entire flight we'll play Mario Kart. And that was the best time to do it, a 4.5-hour flight to California. So every single plane trip now, we got our 8 guys and we're just playing Mario Kart the entire flight. And it's one of the best things ever. Like it's so much fun.
That's so funny. These huge guys are just little kids at heart.
Yeah.
They really are. People are wondering, what do you do to get locked in for the game? Like on the flight, like you guys looking at film, it's like, by that point it's Saturday, we're traveling. You already know exactly what to expect in the game. So this is just a little bit of time now for us to just chill. So we're going to play Mario Kart for 3 hours.
That's funny.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you feel like the research that the coaches do and bring to you guys during like the player meetings in the NFL is like a step up from college, or no?
I think it's a lot of the same feedback. It's just there's a lot more coaches now too, where we specifically have like people scouting and watching film, giving us different like cut-ups to watch that, like in terms of like O-line coach to O-line coach, they're teaching a lot of the same things. That's one thing about like, especially offensive line play, is the techniques you're using in the NFL aren't all that much different than what you should be teaching high school kids. It's just consistently doing the right stuff all the time. So the one thing that's just so much different, like I said, is just the amount of film that these coaches watch. It's insane, their level of knowledge for you're an offensive line coach, but you know everything about defenses and safeties and different like defensive structures, and it's just crazy how knowledgeable these coaches are.
Yeah, I bet it's like 3 times as many people are involved being in NFL. That's
Well, you got to imagine the money that they have at that level to build the kind of IQ they need for the game has got to be
absolutely
next level. Yeah,
absolutely. It's just it's crazy. It's just even like the scouting staff, how much like they know about football and the specific things that they're looking at and looking for. Like these coaches can tell exactly what's going to happen on a blitz just by the way the linebackers, maybe they're a half yard on different levels or something. And it's like they just see these little minute things that are just huge tells for us as O-linemen that help us out so much.
Do you have a specific team that's your nemesis? Your personal nemesis?
Not. I don't personally have one. In general, I'd say ours is the Saints as a team, but I'm pretty new to it yet, so I still think
you haven't formed your nemesis.
I hate the Packers more than I hate any team in our division right now. I'm still working up to it.
Yeah, right.
Hey, by the way, too, I wanted to say congratulations on the engagement with your fiance.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun summer.
Yeah, it was cool to see on social media too. How is she taking all of this new lifestyle and everything that you guys have going on?
She's been great with it. It's tough. I mean, it's tough. Moving across the entire U.S.
Right.
It's just us two down here. So, and it's easy for me. I go to the facility and I have all these different people I'm talking to every day, but right away it's just her down here. So, it takes a little bit to kind of get situated and whatnot, but she's got friends down here. Hangs out with some of the other like girlfriends and wives on the team. So that part's been great, but man, I couldn't imagine doing it out here without her. It's just to be able to come home to an actual home and talk about things that aren't football it's really nice. It's much needed.
That's awesome.
Do you ever go out and party with any of the boys?
Not really too much during the season. We a little bit, in the off season, we'll go out and we'll do different things. Head to the casino, something like that. But not really too much during the season.
Yeah. So going from college, you just said you kind of just ate whatever you could, and then now you're in NFL and it's very structured. What kind of diet regimen are you on now, and do they provide the meals, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have a little cafeteria where during the season we got breakfast, lunch, dinner. There's 3 meals there.
Wow.
All the time. So you're not really having to worry too much about making anything. And they do a good job. We have a couple nutritionists on staff. So kind of like they kind of control what's getting put out in the cafeteria. So it's not really like too much like person to person. The diets don't really vary too much, but just like in general, before they put out what the food's going to be, they kind of look into it and make sure it's good food and whatnot. So I love our cafeteria though. They do a good job. It's great. I mean, I can't complain at all about three free meals a day. I mean, that's great.
Do they have like you guys? I mean, do you know what you need to consume every day, like stuff like that?
Like your macros?
Yeah. If there's something, I like me, like I have to take a couple extra, like I take some omega-3 that other people maybe don't need. And like, there's different, if you need more, like different nutritional intake, like stuff, like they'll help you out with that person to person. Our nutritionists they make like smoothies and shakes for us, kind of varied from person to person based on if you need something different. But, nothing really too crazy.
I follow like a guy that makes reels on Instagram, and he always like gives the big man props, if that makes sense. So like sometimes they'll have a guy who's on kickoff and he's a lineman and he's running it back, whatever it is in the NFL, and he's just like, go big man. and it's great. Do you feel like linemen don't get the credit they deserve compared to like quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure definitely in a general sense. Obviously, these skill position players, quarterbacks, receivers, the guys making the big plays are going to get more of the love. I mean, that's kind of a given. They're the ones actually doing it, I guess. But I feel like for the people, especially within a team, but also even like the fans who understand football, really, really understand how like this play happened because of the offensive line. And like to the people who actually understand it and who it actually matters for, I mean, we're getting love all the time. If we have a good play, if we have a huge block, we're getting all sorts of love within the building, and that's really all you need. So that's just kind of one of the things about being a lineman is usually if you don't hear your name much, you're doing a good job.
That's true because like I'm a Vikings fan too. So whenever I see Kirk Cousins just getting fucking planted. I'm like, oh, come on, guys, let's step it up a little bit. Give him a little time back there. But that's true. It's like, when you're doing your job is when they don't mention you, and then when you're not doing your job, that's when you get called
That's
up.
when you're gonna, that's when people are gonna start hearing your name, and you don't want that, or else you're gonna get people in your DMs like after the Bills game, and you don't want that.
Screw those guys.
Do you have a play that is like the most difficult for you? Because like as a guard, I know you gotta like pull and stuff with whichever direction the play is going. Do you have is a screen super difficult for you, or is there a certain run that you do that is hard for you to get to and make work?
A lot of time, I mean, there's a couple things like getting up to the second level. Like sometimes some of these linebackers are just so insanely athletic and fast that you could be taking the perfect angle to go cut them off, and they're still going to outrun you. So it's like sometimes it's stuff like that is just frustrating, because like I'm in the right place. It's just these guys are insane athletes, and they'll just beat you to a spot. That's probably one of the main things, though, is like I'm like, God, like I took the perfect pursuit angle to go get them, and they just barely beat me to the spot. And that's my main thing.
What is going into like season or in season? What does a typical schedule look like for NFL players?
So, okay, Wednesday and Thursday are bigger days where we'll we get in there about like 7:45. We have a team meeting, so you're in there. I don't know. I get in there about 6:30, 6:45. Start doing some like stuff for my body, like different treatment type stuff, but. Team meeting, and then we go right to position meetings for a little while, and then we'll have we have practice about 10 o'clock, 10 to 12, and then a little bit of time after practice to go back to training room, get food, go to the training room, do treatment, all that, massages and whatnot, and then we meet again at 3 o'clock or so, and then probably from 3 to 5 we're meeting, and then we're done at 5. That's Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday. Kind of the same schedule, except after practice, we're cut loose. It's kind of a half day. So about noon or 12:30, we're done for the day. Then Saturday, we'll come in, meet for an hour or so. We go out and do like a little mock game, just kind of, it's a walkthrough. We're just, offense does 4 plays, and then we punt. Defense does 4 plays, and then you punt return, just kind of like walking through what the game would look like. And then that's our travel day. So if it's an away game, we'll head to the plane, fly there, do all of our night meetings and whatnot. If it's a home game, we'll just go home and chill for a little while, come back and have a couple meetings at night. And then we got to stay in the home game or away game. We're staying in the hotel before the game. And then Sunday, playing in the game. And then usually if we win, we'll get a victory Monday where we don't have anything on Monday or Tuesday. If we lose, we'll come in Monday, have a couple meetings, do a lift, whatnot. But so them victory Mondays are nice, because if you play a noon or a 1 o'clock game, you're done at 4, and then you're off until Wednesday morning. So that's pretty nice.
Are you still lifting every day, or what does your weightlifting regimen look like?
Yeah, we'll lift twice a week. Usually Monday we'll come in and get that, whether we have anything team-wise or not. We'll come in Monday, get a quick lift in, and then Wednesday or Thursday morning, before that team meeting, 7 o'clock or so, we'll go lift. But they're really easy lifts, just kind of maintaining strength and whatnot. You're not really putting on a whole lot of muscle during that time. It's really just get around, move around a little bit, and just kind of maintain where you're at.
How do you feel about the kickoffs, the new kickoff setup that they have? Obviously you're not on them, but how do you feel about them?
It's weird to see. It's different. Growing up, that's not at all what it's been. It's always been, and they've kind of been moving towards something like this for a while. They moved the kickoff up a little bit, so now there's way more touchbacks, and then now they do this, and it makes sense in terms of safety and whatnot, player safety, like that makes sense, but it'll definitely take a little bit to get used to. It is weird seeing kickoff and it just being the kicker out there at the 35 or 40, and everyone else is already down at the 40-yard line. And like that's going to take a bit to get used to.
It actually kind of does make more sense to have linemen out there, though. Now that I think about it, like they should put you guys out there, but I guess not.
It changes like how people think about it. Like a lot of teams have D linemen now on their kickoff team to go down, or bigger linebackers, and they have these guys. They're a little bit better in like the tighter space and whatnot. And I mean, it kind of makes sense. I bet you'll see teams who actually do have offensive linemen out there on kickoff return, and it's just that'll be good to see, I guess. Get the old linemen some more special teams reps.
It'll be interesting for sure. So how do you feel about going into this season with your team?
I feel great. Personally, I feel a lot better. Just it's a whole year of 18, however many games we played last year. I started every game, played every snap, so have a lot of confidence for myself, which is the biggest thing in this game. I mean, once you lose your confidence, it's steep hill down from that, because that's the biggest thing, is just having confidence, which I feel like I have a lot of right now. Just really happy with where I'm at right now in training camp, in the preseason so far, but also the team. I mean, I feel great about, we had a really good offseason in terms of signing guys back. We got Baker back. We got Mike Evans back. We got signed Tristan Wirfs to a big deal. Antoine Winfield on defense, Levante David. Like, these are guys who they're the core of the team right there. So to have a group of guys like that get signed back, I'm really excited for this year. I think it's going to be a really good year for us.
Is there anything that you personally do to keep your body, I guess, from not falling apart?
I get a lot of massages, just into soft tissue type stuff like that. I started this off season going to a little bit of a more specialized like rehab type place. It's just he's a chiropractor as well as like a PT. So he helps me a lot with like back. If I ever have back issues, he's always on top of that. And so I'll go see him once or twice a week, just to kind of typical bodywork stuff, just make sure everything's good. If there's things that need strengthening, I'll go to him for like those little weird things, like different core workouts that'll help my back from not seizing up or anything like that. So I started to go to a guy like that. So Dr. Joe's been great. He's been a big part of my kind of like weekly plan now, I guess.
You being like a small town country boy and a farmer, do you think that contributed to your work ethic coming into the NFL? Well, I should say coming into college and then the NFL.
I would say it definitely did. I mean, not many kids. I mean, I started working on the farm when I was really young. 10, 11 years old, I'd go to work with my dad, and not a lot of kids that young are working. And you develop a good just work ethic in general. You're not wanting to do this stuff a lot of times when you're a kid. Who wants to go and work from 8 to 5 when you're 12 years old? But there's a lot of things now that you don't want to do, but you have to. And so like having done that my entire life, I really think that's the biggest thing with just growing up like a small town farm kid, is just the work ethic is the biggest thing.
Yeah. And I think you being a Midwesterner plays a lot into it, because I hear it a lot when me being in the Guard. I've traveled a lot, and North Dakotans specifically are very sought after because we have such hard work ethic, and I guess we're just tough people. You kind of have to be when living in this weather.
Oh, you definitely have to be. I mean, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before with like NDSU recruiting, why the offensive line's been so good. It's because they're getting those Midwestern guys, small town guys, like farm type background guys. It's no different there than it is anywhere else in the NFL or in any other really aspect of life. Like that's something that you can't really teach to anyone, as a work ethic. So growing up with something like that, you're going to go a lot further in life.
So Cody, you know that I'm a full-time Guard recruiter, and whenever I go into schools and I have to introduce myself, I say I'm Cody Mauch. Obviously, I'm not the offensive lineman that plays for the Buccaneers. He's a relative of mine, but And then they get like a shock, like, what? You know Cody? But there's a kid that's at Cheyenne. He's going to be a senior this year. He's a really big kid. And he committed himself to go play for Nebraska next year. What would be a good piece of advice to give that young man?
Really just like not to forget where you come from. I mean, everyone kind of has their own upbringing, but you can't ever really change who you are. It's going to be a different culture. Like even going to NDSU, where a good core of the guys are small town, hardworking people, it's just a different dynamic. And you have to really just, I don't know, like stay true to who you are and not really stray too far from that. And you just got to enjoy it. The quicker you can go and make friends with these people, the quicker you're going to start to love it. Man, I hated football when I first started at NDSU. It was long days. You're getting your ass kicked all the time. And finally, one day, a bunch of us are like, are you guys hating this right now too? And we're like, yes, we are too. So we kind of let you get close to these guys because of your hate at the time for football. And then eventually you just start to love it. And so the quicker you can make friends with people, the easier it's going to get and the more fun you're going to have with it.
Would there be something that I could tell him that you would contribute your success becoming such an excellent player and being able to be drafted to the NFL?
I think the biggest thing is just to like be open to anything the coaches tell you. Like going into college from high school, I never would have thought I would have been an offensive lineman. And if I would have been closed to that position change, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be working on the farm. I would have had, a fun time in college. Probably wouldn't have played much as a tight end, but because I was open to that change, these coaches know what they're talking about. If they see you in a different position, just because it's not what you see, they see the bigger picture a lot of times. You really just have to buy into whatever they're telling you. They're not going to lead you astray.
So now that you're got a year under your belt, what was it like seeing that first paycheck drop in your bank account?
That was pretty cool. That was that was pretty fun to, I signed my contract pretty late last summer, and then it took a week or two for the first little portion of my signing bonus to come in, and that was pretty incredible to look at my phone and see that. That was something I'll never forget.
Was there anything specific that you went out and bought?
Not really, no. I mean, I had that summer, I went and bought a new custom fit pair, some golf clubs. That was something I bought. Spent a little bit on some nice golf clubs. Otherwise, no. I mean, I haven't really touched any of it.
Are you ever going to make your way down to Mar-Largo?
I got to. That would be electric.
Do you think you could beat Trump in golf?
No shot. I'm a horrible golfer.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I had a couple more questions for you. I was wondering, like, so after a game, are you like pretty beat up? Does it feel like you just hit a truck, or a truck hit you, I should say?
It really does. It's really not as much after the game because you still have, a little bit of adrenaline going. It's the next morning when you wake up. Man, there were times I woke up after a game and I could not get out of bed. I was just I was hurting so bad. I dealt with some back problems a little bit last year, and there were times I couldn't even go down and go to the bathroom. Like my body was not working, and it's like, man, this sucks right now. But that day after the game, yeah, you're in a lot of pain.
I also wanted to know, and I don't want to give you any bad juju or anything, but with all the specific injury that happened last year, do you think there's like an issue with certain types of turf, or like obviously saw Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, all these guys getting that same injury? Like, what do you feel a difference when you're on like a different turf? Or
I mean, I bet 99% of the people across the league would agree that their joints just feel so much better on grass versus turf. Even, we're on the grass all the time. Our practice facility, we have 3 grass fields that we're on, but we also have an indoor that we'll use every once in a while. And we used it once so far this year for training camp. And even just after that practice, you can noticeably feel that your joints are a little bit more stiff, a little bit more sore from everything. So I definitely sense a difference.
Okay. So we're getting here near closing, but I just want to ask, you still play basketball? Are you still good at basketball?
I don't really play too much. I mean, I'll play a little bit in the off season. I played some when I got back after this season, and definitely lost my touch a little bit, but still helps being 6'5" against a bunch of my buddies who are small town North Dakota kids. So that height doesn't go away. So that definitely helps me out. But I definitely lost if I ever had a shooting touch, it's not there anymore.
Nice. But that extra inch and a half probably helped you.
That part helps. Right? I can still dunk too. So that's
I was gonna say, can you dunk? That's a big one. So.
Yep, can still
dunk. Break any backboards?
What's that?
Break any backboards dunking?
Not quite like that. I still I can barely dunk, but I can get it in there. So that's all that matters.
Nice.
So I got one more question.
Yeah,
unless you guys.
No.
Dion, do you want to ask it?
No, you got it.
Okay, Cody Mauch. Do you believe in aliens?
I absolutely do.
Yeah, my dog. We got another one, boys. Have you ever had an experience or seen anything like that?
I don't think so. Oh, well, okay. One time in college, we were having a little bonfire out back in someone's backyard, and we looked up and we saw some lights in the sky, and then you just saw it like real quick, like just fly through. It was like insanely fast, just flew across the sky out of sight. And we're like, what the hell was that? Like, did you guys see that too? So I'm sure there's a better explanation for it, but that's
definitely aliens.
That was pretty crazy.
Hell yeah. You guys got anything else you want to ask him before we let him go?
Cody, I just want to say I appreciate you like so much for coming on and talking with us. Seeing you get drafted or seeing you play in NDSU and then see you get drafted, man, I was so friggin' happy for you, and watching you play against the Vikings, man, I just seriously, dude, like I was like ecstatic, and I can't wait to watch you again this year. And man, I hope you play great and have a good year.
No, appreciate it. I'm glad I was able to. Sorry, it would have been nice to be there in the studio to do this. So I'm happy I was able to do it. But next off season, I'll get up there. We'll do it in person. That'll be great.
Yeah. And I told Cody, I said he's going to be our regular, like Aaron Rodgers is on Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, I'll take it
every Thursday night.
Awesome. Yeah. Right on, man. Well, hey, thanks again. Like Cody said, we really appreciate you being on, bro. Wish you nothing but the best of luck in your career, and I hope you have a hell of a season, except for when you play the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll look forward to having you on again soon, man. So thanks again. We appreciate you. Is there anything you want to say on the way out, man?
What? Say again?
Is there anything you want to say on the way out? Some last words or anything?
Oh, shoot. Nothing really. Just this was awesome. I wasn't really too sure what we were going to get into, but I had a great time. Appreciate you guys for doing this. This was awesome. It was I had a blast, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again.
Awesome.
Tell the old lady we said hi.
Yep.
Yes, and congratulations as well.
It was nice meeting you.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. We really appreciate you all checking us out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel. Make sure you talk about us. Tell your friends about us. Don't tell your friends about us. Talk good, talk bad. Doesn't really matter as long as you're talking about us. Peace.